Namaskar, friends. In this oration, I will explain to you what God explained to the sages about the question how God came to reside in the human body. God had announced that He had first created a lump of flesh, blood, and bones, and then entered into it as soul. How He came to dwell in the human body was the question. Now, God explains it in verse number 20 of hymn number 164 of the first mandal of the Ruk Veda. It sings, Dva Suparna Sujaja Sakhaya Vrukhyang Pari Sassojate Chayoranyaha Pipara Sadhatya Nyasannanoho Abhichakasiti. Dva Suparna, two birds, fine feathered birds. Sajoja Sukhaya, being together as friends. Vrukhyang Pari Sassojate, came to dwell in a tree. Chayoranyaha Pipara Sadhatya, one of the two went on eating the sweet fruits of that tree. Nasandanyo Abhichakasiti, the other, refraining himself from eating any food, went on observing the first living soul, the first friend. The implication is, in the human being, in the human frame, dwells the living soul and the super soul, supreme being, simultaneously. The living soul does everything. He does karma and enjoys the good effects of his karma or bad effects. The super soul existing in the body is not an active agent to what the living soul does. He simply observes. Nor also it is written that he is recording your actions. He simply witnesses, regards, observes, sometimes evaluates. This is the basic idea. The tree is also considered the universe. The creation is also considered a tree. The Supreme Spirit manifested himself as living spirit. By that, the Supreme Spirit remains the same, as full as before. Purnamidam Purnamadaha. As before full, now also as full, converting himself, a part of himself, as creation. Now, this matter should for a man's consciousness. A man should be conscious of it. Normally, a man is never conscious of anything unless he is taught, unless he comes to know, either by study or by learning or by hearing something from someone, from some guru. The Upanishad said, if a man can realize this, understand this, it becomes a part of his conviction. It is enough for him to live religiously in this world. Because when he is tempted to do something bad, which is the view that nobody can see him, he will do it secretly. He will come to sense that somebody inside him is watching him, what he is doing. This is enough to be religious. Further branches of spiritualism are more different, but this is the beginning step of spiritualism. Now, an Upanishadic guru teaching his disciples this fundamental principle of spiritualism one day asked one of his disciples. When he came, he said, take this dove and go to any place where you like. Wring its neck in such a way that nobody is able to see you doing this work. the disciple took the dove and went deep into a cave, hill cave. While he was going to wring the neck of the dove, he found that if not anyone was there, at least he was seeing the act. Even the eyes of the dove also fell on him, and he saw that the eyes of the dove also was watching what he was going to do. He thought he cannot do anything what has been taught in the Upanishad about the existence of the supersoul in his frame. He came back and cried before the Guru that he had failed to do what the Guru had bidden. The Guru was very glad inside that his teaching has rightly fallen on him, on the disciple. But what happens to us, friends? Sometimes this feeling of something precious in us, please remember my first sentiment category. The sense that something precious in you is there, which no one outside can harm it, wound it, or encroach upon it. But this is a blessing, friends. It doesn't come to everyone. To other persons, most persons, it must come through a teaching, a consciousness, through some reading. Let me remind you that boy of 7 and 8 who did not accept the money given by the officer. His sentiment is a pure sentiment born. He is born with such a feeling. But such species are rare. Secondly, friends, this concept of two birds coming together as friends and staying there is very important. Not that this bird came and that bird came separately and became together, or just they dwelt separately in the tree. No, it says they came together as friends. That means of a human being, his best friend is God, the God that dwells inside. He is free to take up friendship in the outside world. But always he should remember that his friendship, his friend, goes by the very norm of the supersoul inside him. That is a very important teaching. That is why comes the necessity of incarnation. In both incarnations, you will find they were very good friends. One with Sri Chandra was best friend of Sugriv, and Sudama was the best friend of Lord Sri Krishna. Friendship, because that was the illustration. Friends, let me remind you the main context from which I had come to this personal sentiment. After this personal sentiment orations are over, I was going to say shared sentiment. When you come to reside in an organization, in an institution, like family, like your community, like the state, where you share your sentiments with others, you cannot have your own way in the organization. Your sentiment must harmonize with the sentiment of others. There must be someone who will emerge from this collective as father from home, or the leader of a group of people or the state. However, such people come to the forefront when everyone has sentiment. Suppose everyone has sentiment. Still then, someone will emerge from them as a leader. How? They will have to surrender each of their personal sentiment to the sentiment of the leader. In this case, it is he who prompts the leader, like person, to come to the forefront. It is his blessing that makes a man forward, extreme in temperament, in good qualities, and unbeatable by any circumstances. The Ruk Veda in hymn number 125, verse 5, sings, God himself tells it, Ahameva soyam vadami. I am myself saying here, Ahameva soyam vadami. Justang devevihi utang manusevihi. What is best for the gods and what is best for men. Jang kamoe tang naha ugrang kunati. When we see someone workable, a man of work, we endow him with extreme qualities. We make him extreme. This word ugra is an adjective. It gives the meaning of the word with which it is added. If you say ugrapanthi, it is unacceptable term. But it is a ugravirang mahavishnu in a hymn dedicated to Nrsimha. Ugraviran, here is a positive meaning. The verse says, Jang kamoe tang naha ugram kunati. When we find someone workable, a man of work, we make him ugra. Tang brahmanang, we make him creative. Brahma is the creator on behalf of God. God's creative manifestation as Brahma. Tang brahmanang, he become a creative artist. I meant to say that. Tang rusihi, we make him wise. Tang sumedhang, and we also make him learned. It is ultimately from among several of us that one who is blessed by God, selected by God, ultimately comes to our forefront and takes up the leadership. That is the implication of this verse. So friends, I just explained to you how the super soul forms a part of us as the beginning of spirituality. With this, I close the oration. Thank you.